I don't even know how to say anything um, about my mom sometimes, which I do say it, but it's like I'm still hesitant because the thing is now she's been deceased now for over a year. Um, but it's related to the thing of the saying from the woman who did the Barbie doll. She said, "Mothers stand still so daughters can see how far we have come." And the thing with that is like related to television and entertainment and even progress. It's like we can't even get a woman president. That first of all, that's the big elephant in the room. To see how far we have come, it's very hard for women to still even get into leadership positions today. That was an elephant in the room. And so my mom and dad just did not want to talk about politics at all. So that was instilled in them. And that was acceptable. My mom wanted, when people came to visit, she wanted to have a happy family, a happy environment, and no fighting. So I'm assuming that before I was born, my mom must have had a lot of fighting in her home, and she never talked about it. But then she would also express, at my dad's family functions, he would have an uncle or his brother, yeah, and an uncle too, and then his sister got into politics, and so they were always pushing some things. And my mom said she didn't like the fighting. Now I don't remember going to any of these events and anybody raising their voices, so it wasn't the fighting and raising voices like my mom and dad did when I was a kid and they were cursing at each other. It wasn't anything like that. That's all they were doing was a little bit of cursing. They would have a fight for maybe 15 to 30 minutes tops. Then it would be over. There would be a period of time, there could be up to 24 hours, and then things were fine again, so they both got over it. But there's just things in relationships my mom wasn't going to talk about. She did not want to hear about, she didn't want to hear about anything from any marriages and relationships of her kids once we got to be adults. But she never told me about that when I was a kid. When I was a kid, she wanted to know who I was dating, blah, 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 all this stuff. But then it kind of really got to a point. She was always telling me and my sister when we were kids, it's like, now you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. One day when you grow up, you're going to want to find a man to get married to. So I don't even remember what that stuff was. It must not have been important because it's not. She would just say, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, because one day you'll want to find a man and a husband to get married to before the age of 30, or you're going to be an old maid.